Hey, it's Amethyst Virgo. I'm back with a new series. We're going to talk about careers through the signs. And I'm going to pick certain careers and talk about the likelihood of how this career could work for you based on your sign. I do not believe in limiting people based on their sign. I don't believe in saying, you're a Virgo, you can't do this. You're a Leo, you can't do this. You're this, you can't. Throughout history, we have plenty of examples of people who are certain signs and certain professions. And it's not just one sign owns one profession, but it may mean you're better suited for a different type of work in that occupation. For example, you want to be a nurse. Do you want to be an emergency room nurse? Do you want to be a pediatric nurse? Do you want to be a psychiatric nurse? If you want to be an educator, do you want to be a elementary school teacher? Do you want to be a high school teacher? Do you want to be a college professor? Like, there's all these different buckets under certain certain fields. And of course, as I do this, I'm pretty sure this series will get better. This is my first one, but I'm talking about the healthcare field. Now, what I will talk about with the healthcare medical field is I am going to include some signs that could do better when it comes to alternative medicine, maybe, or spiritual healing as well. So I am going to not do this by the book, but I am going to tell you in general what each sign, if you want to help people and you want to be in the health field, which sign is more prone to certain things, certain qualities. So Aries is good at responding to things in the moment. Sometimes you could be better at being an emergency room doctor, dealing with surgery on the spot. More fast-paced need to help people is maybe the Aries energy, because Aries deals with blood very easily. Not all Aries people. I'm talking about if you're an Aries that wants to be a doctor, you may be, remember, Aries is associated with Mars, bloodshed. But also, remember, Aries energy is good at fixing things in the moment. So a Scorpio may be better with the recovery process. I'll talk about that in a moment. Aries could be better when it comes to getting in and just getting that thing done right there. Because remember that Mars need to fix and do. That's Mars. So if you have Aries energy and you want to work in the healthcare field, you might be better at that. I'm not saying all Aries like blood or anything that most people don't want to see blood, but if you're working in the healthcare field, you're different, right? You see these things, and I appreciate people so much that work in the healthcare field. My mom was a nurse for many, many years. I could never work in the healthcare field in that capacity, but I appreciate people who do, because we need you. So that's great. For people who help other people medically and physically and surgeries and things like that, that's very intense work. And so Aries is good at that. An intelligent Aries person can act in the moment and do something good and right. So by intelligent, I mean, we can't be doing with the Aries energy, let me just experiment, let me just put this right here and do the surgery. No, I'm talking about a person who's well read, who's well studied, a person who is esteemed. An Aries person who's intelligent, who uses their facts well, they can be really good at doing something in the moment and doing it very well, but they thrive off doing it then. Their energy has to be. So I'm not saying if you're an Aries person, this is the only thing you could do, but you know best how to deal with something that needs to be mended and fixed and done right in that moment. Not as much the investigative nature of health. That's a different sign. It's best for that. But Aries, EMT, people that deal with emergency issues, people that they need surgery right away, right? That might be more of an Aries type of energy in the healthcare field, or you simply are just comfortable with that. It doesn't mean you have to only do that, but you are aware and understand what needs to happen right then and there. And I think that's a strength of Aries that other signs may not have. There could be a lot of different things you could say about Aries. I mean, Virgo is in conjunct Aries. I told you, everyone in my house except for me has a major Aries placement. So it can be difficult for Aries and Virgo to understand each other sometimes, but Aries' ability to no, we're going to fix this right then and there. I think that's a strength. Taurus energy, I think Taurus does best with therapeutic services. As we know, Taurus is sense, touch. Taurus loves touch. Not for the same reason Aries does. Aries does as well. But Taurus, it's the pressure points. They might know what parts of the body to touch to make someone feel more relaxed. Venus, right? The pressure points. Venus energy wants you to be calm. And so Taurus, now it doesn't always mean you have to be a massage therapist. Maybe with Taurus energy, you also could be maybe a an occupational therapist, or hey, you need to get better. Let me work with you on what part of the body you need to relax. You need to massage this tissue here in order to get better. So Taurus can sometimes do best in that. Now, as far as Gemini goes, Gemini is probably the best doctor that does research, perhaps, right? Gemini might want to do the research. Gemini might want to be the person who's this Gemini could be best at like the person who practiced medicine, but they go on to write research papers. Maybe they work for a university, right? Some universities have hospitals as well, something like that. Like, maybe doing that type of work. Gemini is good at knowing something as well in terms of what are the possibilities. Well, let's run this test because it could be this or it could be that as well. Like Gemini flows the ideas through. So a person who has Gemini and they're in the healthcare field might be good at knowing that there's different possibilities, like not being like, this is what you got by. It's like, that's interesting because this person has this and I looked at their x-rays and this. Run another report. Like that could be a Gemini or Virgo, but Gemini is good for the advice. I would say definitely a Gemini person in the healthcare field would have a good, probably career. Let's say even if they have Gemini in the 10th house and maybe a 3rd house energy, writing research reports, leading conferences where you talk about health as well. Cancer energy, and I've seen this before in certain charts when I do charts. Let me tell you, a lot of the charts that I do with the people who are in nursing have Cancer on the cusp in some type of medical field, Cancer on the cusp of the 6th house. This natural need to want to work in a profession. And most of the people who do it, and again, I do think that I attract certain types of clients. So I want to be clear in that as well, that I'm pretty sure because I attract people that have similar placements, even, different ages and things like that, I'm pretty sure that's another part of it, right? I'm attracting people who care about the work they're doing for a reason, right? But I see a lot of Cancer, cusp of the 6th house. Sometimes Sun and Cancer people work in medicine because they actually care about helping someone. They might have had experience or seen something like that person needs help. I want to do that too. So it's a different reason why some people go into certain fields. You get what I'm saying? Not everybody goes into medicine because they care. They might go into medicine because they're good at it, or they're fascinated by the human body, but they don't really care about the bedside manner. Whereas a Cancer in the 6th house person may care more about the bedside manner. Like, no, this patient is a person. Like, it's not just someone I'm operating on. It's not just this project, right? So, but also you can see sometimes Cancer in the 6th house or Cancer suns or whatever, predominant Cancer energy in the chart, you could do well with the birthing process, being a doula, right? Helping women through the process of birth. Being sensitive to what the patient feels and needs is Cancer on the 6th house. So you could be a doctor, but you're one of the sensitive ones, right? You could be someone who's different. You aren't just doing it because you're good at it. You're doing it because you're good at it, and you also care about that patient having a good experience. You like to tend to the issue at hand. That would be the Cancer energy there. Now, let me just do something really quick because I feel like, I want to make another statement, but I want to make sure I have my houses right. So if Cancer is on the 6th house cusp, you then have Leo, 7th house. Let's do Placidus to make this easy. Virgo, 8th. Libra, 9th. Scorpio, 10. Yeah. So if they also have Scorpio in the 10th house cusp, right? That also helps. This could be a person who's also good at, maybe they are helping repair something, right? Maybe they're repairing something. Regeneration is Scorpio, coming back together, fusing things back together is Scorpio. So this could also be a person who maybe does some type of surgery, or they, this could be a person who does reconstructive surgery, something like that. Now, yes, but I would say emergency room energy is not tend to be Cancer, right? Cancer energy people. Now, you could have a Cancer who's an EMT, but maybe that's not really what they want to do, or that's not what they went to school to do in medical school. But somehow, people go to medical school, or they go to education, or they go to be a lawyer, and they just end up in a different, sector of that than they want it to be in. Leo. I feel like the Leo doctor, the Leo person in medicine is the person who wants to give quality care. They want their unit, they want their team, they want their hospital to be the best. Sometimes this could be a person that eventually works their way up to being like the president of a hospital or something like that. This could be a person who excelled in medical school. So this is a person who takes pride in what they do. This could be a person who wants to do really well when it comes to their work. And because of that, especially if it's a Leo with any Virgo energy, and maybe it's a Leo with Mercury and Virgo, you're going to get a person who tends to give pretty good care. Now, they're not doing it for the same reason Cancer's doing it, but they're doing it because they want to be the best at something, right? There's a different need there. Am I saying all Leo doctors are like this? No. Again, I'm not interpreting your individual chart unless you're my client. So this is not talking about you in particular, or your grandmama, or your mom, whoever. But that's what I would say about the Leo doctor. There is a quality care. They also might be someone that kind of seems, now again, you would have to look at the degree in the house. Does it come off like a Leo person that's like a know-it-all type who's just trying to prove to you that they're so smart? Or is this a Leo person who's that genuine warmth? You know, sometimes you talk to a Leo person and this smile they have. Like, Leo is usually a good energy to be around. Now, again, you have to look at the person, the individual, but Leo can sometimes be very inviting. And so if you have a Leo doctor who's very inviting, no, we're going to get you fixed. No, you're good. You know, that type of person can sometimes bring out positive reaction in a patient if that's what you're able to do. Now, you can't over promise somebody what you can do, especially when it comes to something that's fatal or something that you don't know. It's experimental, but so that's what Leo can be. And also, if you have a lot of Leo energy in the chart and you want to work in medicine and you're not sure what to do, pediatric work could work. Working with children, because that Leo energy, you already naturally possess that need to care or tap into the kind of childlike energy that sometimes we all have. We all have childlike energy in us in some way. And Leo is just more able to understand children, or Leo is associated with the sign of children, Virgo. Okay. Virgo be really good at diagnosis. So remember I said Gemini can be the spokesperson, or Gemini is the person writing research papers about, their experience, health, or publishing into medical journals and things like that. Virgo is good at uncovering the reasons why you have this and this is why, or that doesn't look right. We need to do this. We need to run this test and run this, and I'm going to look at them and compare them. So Virgo, if you're working in medicine, maybe you want to work in on the department that analyzes the results, the blood samples, the urine samples, the x-rays, whatever the case may be. If any of you have seen The Good Doctor, that show, I've liked that, you can see in him. Now, again, I'm not saying what sign he would be, I think that, but that idea of no, it's this and it's that because of this. That's a Virgo mind. So not his personality per se is Virgo, but I'm saying maybe, I don't know, I would have to do a whole analysis of that show. Because, remember, he's the doctor, he has autism, but he's really skilled and he's really, really good at what he does. And, his, the guy that was kind of like his caretaker after his parents died, or his parents died? No, his mom left him because the dad was abusive, and then the brother and him were on their own. But anyway, the guy that kind of took care of him like a father figure fights for him to get this position at this job, and just talks about his experience, being an individual with autism, but also navigating his professional career at this hospital and things like that. So if you watch the show, you see he's really keen on things, he understands what's wrong. No, that can't be it. And he sees the things that other people can't see. Because in the beginning of the show, they're brushing him off when he's trying to tell them what's wrong with someone. The doctor who's been there is no, you don't know what you're talking about. And he's right. And I think sometimes that is experience of Virgo energy. It's people don't really want to listen, but you saw that small thing no one noticed, and that small thing can lead to a bigger thing. So Virgo, you're good at uncovering the reasons. Use the details in order to diagnose what the problem is, and potentially good at giving the remedy. Remember, Virgo is a sign associated with health and service. So Virgo is the remedy. Virgo is the prescription. You should take this because of this, right? Libra. Libra, I would say, as far as health, could be good at making something whole again. We look at, Scorpio is the regeneration of something that has maybe had some trauma to it, even trauma, not just mental trauma, but also I'm saying trauma in terms of trauma, having surgery, and having to repair something that's physical. Whereas I said for Libra, it's outpatient therapy. Libra is really good at, let's talk about, you just had this really intense surgery. Let's talk about it. Sometimes some people after certain surgeries, they do need treatment. They need to learn how to walk again. They need to learn how to talk again. Libra is great for that. Libra tends to sometimes have patience, that Venus nature. Venus isn't rushing anybody, okay? So Libra could be really good at like speech therapy or something like that, where you're helping someone talk and you're trying to relate to them and you're able to kind of meet them down at that level and you're not getting, frustrated. You probably could say Gemini could be good at being a speech therapist as well. Actually, I would say that, like learning how to talk again. But Libra gives more of that kind of guidance, that kind of we're partners, we're in this together type of energy. Libra might give you different methods to try. They might say, okay, next time we meet, you're going to try this, and then you're going to try this, and you're going to come back and tell me which worked for you. That's why I say Libra life coaches, people who want to be life coaches, Libra energy is good for the partnership. It's good for helping people find methods, and it's good at helping people try different things, and it's good at helping people level and balance their lives. Whereas if you want to be a life coach that deals with people who've had trauma, you probably should have some Scorpio in your chart somewhere. Yeah, so Scorpio in your chart. Yeah. Now, Scorpio is, remember what I said about Aries. We want to come back to that because remember, they're both ruled by Mars, but Scorpio has that Pluto energy. Sometimes you can see Scorpio be really good at therapy after the trauma, after an accident, recovery. It could be physical, but also sometimes Scorpio energy, as I said before, could be really good at being psychiatric doctors, people that's figuring out what, is that condition, is the person's mindset because of their physical condition or vice versa? That can be a really good job for a Scorpio who's very investigative and things like that. So with Scorpio, also dealing with, trauma, with tragedy, with recovery. I keep telling you about the regenerative nature of Scorpio, fusing things back together. Okay, and how important that is for us to understand how Scorpio can approach therapy and therapeutic services and being really intricate about how to put things back the way that it was as much as it can is Scorpio. So whether we are talking about psychiatric services or we're talking about literally being a doctor, a surgeon, perhaps more of a surgeon type Scorpio, sometimes you can see that be something that's really important. Capricorn. I think Capricorn could go one of two ways. Capricorn could definitely be the person who leads in a certain type of research, who cares about the organization looking good. So maybe this is a person who is more, like I said, the president of a hospital, the person who's at the head. You sometimes can see this probably like a Leo or Capricorn, because not only that, but Leo or Capricorn, it has to be a sign that cares about leading. Not all signs. That's what y'all have to stop doing, is this obsession with success and power. And who's the most powerful sign? That person may not be powerful, but they're powerful in a certain sector in their life. And that's all they care about. Because with power comes a lot of responsibility. So everybody wants to be the most powerful until it's time to do the work that the person in power has to do, okay? But a Capricorn can be the person who is more of the we need to look good. My department needs to look good. So if your Capricorn is leading your team on your, and again, I'm not too well versed in the hospital and who does what in the ranks, but I would say that Capricorn is good at leading something to an outcome. It is good at that. Even when it comes to medicine, as this person cares about, no, this has to be done right. There's a procedure for this. There's a process for this. But remember, the Capricorn individual is not too much willing to take risks. Now, if they have any Sag or Aquarius energy in the chart, you might see more of that. But this could be more of a traditional doctor. You could be like, yeah, I've been going to my doctor, but he doesn't do this procedure. He does it like this from back in the day. That's a Capricorn type of doctor, perhaps. A Capricorn can be good at being a chiropractor. Remember, Capricorn is associated with bones. Even the teeth. You can see a dentist maybe as a Capricorn. A bone doctor, someone who deals with, osteoporosis or things of that nature. Capricorn could be really good, I think, with like that type of energy, like dealing with the body structure. Because remember, Capricorn structure. So that's where another way a Capricorn energy person may want to veer into. Aquarius. Remember I said Capricorn could be the traditional doctor. Your Aquarian doctor might be the one who's more like, hey, we're going to try this. Now, again, you have to be careful with experimental medicine, but they're more willing to try something new because remember, Aquarius is associated with invention. It is associated with medicine. Vaccinations would fall under Aquarius. Let's try this thing to solve this problem to help a lot of people. That's Aquarian in nature. Okay. Why do you think vaccines have come up under Saturn and Aquarius. It's Jupiter and Aquarius, mostly Saturn and Aquarius, right? That's a very Aquarian thing. And so one thing just to note, it's like Aquarius is more willing to do experimental medicine or find a cure. You know, we're going to find a cure for something. That's Aquarius. Now, it doesn't mean they're all researchers, but you could have really good researchers with Aquarius energy. So if you want to be a researcher and like find groundbreaking new technology for medicine and create things for create technology for people, that's something Aquarius can tend to be good at, working in those types of fields, caring more about the invention of things to help people medically. And also X-rays would fall under Aquarius, I would say. Being an X-ray technician could be something for Aquarius to do. Aquarius people like technology. Not all of them. Now, again, when I say people, if you have heavy Aquarian energy in your chart, maybe you're moon in Aquarius. I've seen that. Maybe you're, I'm Jupiter in Aquarius and I love technology, but I also have Venus in my 11th house. The 11th house rules. 11th house rules it. Aquarius does it. Difference between the houses and the signs. We'll talk about that another time. The experimental medicine can sometimes be seen through Aquarius. So this is a person who might have theories and inventions that can help. Or you simply work better with medical technology. Pisces can be more concerned with alternative medicine, which differs from experimental pharmaceutical drugs. Now, they may not trust 100% in the medical system because Pisces is the healer. And Virgo and Pisces are different sides of the healer. The Virgo is, I'm healing you. Virgo sometimes can be healed through this like holistic way, okay? Holistically, Virgo can, but Virgo sometimes is more associated with the diagnosis, the rule. We're going to try this medicine. Pisces, let me heal you, spiritual healer, keep the faith. So even if you have a doctor or physician or someone that is doing things by the book, there's going to have a different aura to how they come about. There's more of a, I believe that you really do care. And this person may understand the importance of emotional well-being and healing. That's a strength. Again, people don't understand in this modern world, and they don't understand in this world where, we reward people based on extroversion. We reward people based on how much they fit the system of, that's what you get rewarded from. But like, there's so many other qualities people can have that are not quantifiable by these rules. And sometimes that is in the Pisces energy of keeping the faith of, I believe this can happen for you. You're going to be okay. And it's not in a superficial way. A lot of times these people just know you are, right? Sometimes Pisces energy, it really is tapped into something that we can't quite understand. And so one thing I would say here about the Pisces person, you might not like the medical system. You might feel like, no, that's not the only way to heal people. And again, that's controversial because we don't want people to like miss out on groundbreaking technology, technology and medicine because you want to heal. That's controversial, right? Like healing with herbs, but some people are like, no, I've healed this issue. I've healed my illness with herbs, natural products. And some people are like, no, you need to go to a doctor. And that could be the debate between Pisces and Aquarius. But at its best, if a person has Aquarius and Pisces in the chart, perhaps they're able to do both. I do believe in both. If I'm feeling a certain way, I don't mind taking something natural first. But if something keeps happening, you have to go to a licensed physician. You have to go to somebody that knows what they're doing, right? And medicine has solved, and medical intervention has saved many lives. So I want us to be careful in some ways. We still live in this physical world to just only leave it to faith and only leave it to certain things, because sometimes we do have to get help. So that's why I said shout out to the doctors and the people out here doing the work to keep people healthy, keep people healthy, keep people breathing, help people recover. That's super, super important. The recovery process. And that's why I said like even any of the water signs would be good with recovery. I think any of the water signs and even Virgo would be good with the recovery process. Virgo, let's get you better. Let's check your levels. Try this. And the water signs for really the emotion needed for someone to recover. The hope and the faith that Pisces sometimes can give in terms of that. But even if a Pisces person is doing everything by the book, there's usually going to be, if you're choosing to be a physician and you're a Pisces energy person and you vibe with that Pisces energy, you do have to feel like you're making a difference. You do have to go into this work understanding that a part of you is going to be very sensitive to people passing over and transitioning. And if you're dealing with people who could potentially pass away. So that's more of a doctor hospital thing. If that's not something you want to do as a Pisces, you might want to work in an office, or you work somewhere where you are helping somebody in a way where you're not going to have to constantly deal with people passing away or things of nature. I mean, again, we can't control that, but that's just something just to keep in mind about Pisces in particular when it comes to medicine, and how it might affect you differently to work in certain environments in terms of medicine. But that is it. And again, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm not telling you what field to go into, but I do think this video was, this topic is a little interesting for people who are in the medical field or people who have been, and just seeing how your zodiac sign or your significant placements. I would also use this for your midheaven. If you want to work in medicine, if you don't want to work in medicine, don't go to the Leo part and say, but I don't want to work in medicine. This video is about medicine. It's about medical field. Okay. Or also the 6th house cusp of work, your 2nd house of money, your 10th house of career. So that was it for this video. If you have any ideas for my next occupation to do the same process with, drop the answers, drop your suggestions below. All right, I almost forgot Sagittarius. How could I forget Sagittarius? So if you are interested in medicine and you are a Sagittarius, or you have a Sagittarius rising or midheaven, or whatever you have determined is the important energy for you to understand your path, because again, we have to understand that we don't just need to look at one sign in order to understand what we should be doing. But with Sagittarius energy, it is more so about the holistic understanding of the broad ranges of what something could be. Virgo wants to narrow things down specifically, whereas with Sagittarius, sometimes this could be a person who's good at understanding there's a range. And this could be a doctor, a physician, someone who is more comfortable with, let's order this test and let's order that test and let's do this, because you want to really understand and get to the root of it, and you want to be able to apply your knowledge. This tends to be a pretty knowledgeable individual. You benefit from understanding things even beyond your expertise. And sometimes if we really want to tap into Sagittarius energy in terms of the activity, you could be someone more interested in traveling for work, traveling nurse, right? If you want to be if you wanted to be a nurse. For some people, it's like, you hear of those people who are in medicine, but they worked in different countries. When I was in Indonesia, this is what happened. When I was in, Italy, this is what we did. When I was in, I'm just thinking, right? When I was in Sydney, Australia, this is what we did, right? So it could be that type of person who has a long range of experiences in different places because they want to truly know the best way to treat something. And with Sagittarius energy, the best way sometimes to treat something is not staying locked into the mode of what you've already done, but it is to understand the impact of different types of knowledge and perspectives, and being able to consider many different things. Now, you do have to be, if you're drawing too much on Sagittarius energy, you want to sometimes pick something. You can't order all the tests, right? Everything can't be everything. But with Sagittarius, there does tend to be a lot of knowledge. This person tends to understand a range of different things. If you're trying to figure out what something could be, and you still haven't figured it out, you might want to talk to a Sagittarius energy person, because they tend to have a good level of exposure to different types of situations that have happened. And because of this natural intrigue and, need to understand everything, right? Sometimes that's a Sagittarius thing of needing to understand it all. Because of that, you can have a person who's worked in different types of different types of settings within the medical field. You could have a person who started off, most of the time, I would say, like with medicine, people tend to stay within their area, their expertise, but this could be the person who started off working, with cancer patients, and now they work with rehabilitation, and then they work with the Sagittarian energy. Remember, all mutable energy has more, when it is focused, it can change and adapt in good ways. And so the Sagittarian type of person who's interested in medicine, you might want to just have a broad range and have a lot to choose from. Still be really good at what you're doing, but also understand the fact that it's okay to have a breadth of information and knowledge at your disposal so that you can make other decisions. If you have any ideas for the next occupation I should do, please drop it in the comments. I do want to try to make this like a little series. And so if you have any ideas for what you think could work for my next video, please let me know, and I'll try to work that into one of the video topics on career and astrology.